What's up, YouTube? Capital G here. Alright, guys, so today I'm starting a brand new segment, and knowing myself, this will probably be one of those segments that I end up giving up on in a month anyway. Remember the return of It's Broken, Back to Rome? Yeah, I could go on and on. So, this is going to be one about a common misconception in Yu-Gi-Oh! And I'm just going to have a discussion slash rant, debate, whatever on that. Now, I'm going to call this my stone cold truth of the century of the week. And if you know where that reference is from, you are freaking awesome. And yes, I stole it. I mean, come on, guys. I've got over 300 videos. I mean, you think I'm not running out of ideas? Come on. So, today's topic at hand is going to be Inzektors. And despite the fact that, they had all the hype in the world and the tournament success was actually pretty decent, I just don't think that the deck was very good last format. A lot of the YCS success can kind of be accredited to Billy Break, and nobody's just going to play the deck up to his standard and his level. So when I look at the deck, I think that it was really, really underwhelming as far as having a turn one power play. It was way too Dragonfly or bust, didn't play defense well, lost to the side deck absolutely brutally, and I mean, how can I say it? Doka was a card. Like, when you put Doka on board and you beat Inzektor players 98% of the time, I mean, that's just going to be one of those things that you just have nightmares about. And honestly, can you think of any deck in recent memory that made so many bad players top regionals? Because for the life of me, I couldn't, and I really thought hard about that. Inzektors really suffered from not having a turn one, like, brutal play. And that's pretty much all last format was about. It's like, when you went first, how good was your opening play? How busted was it? Because you could have Logia plus protection, you could have Future Fusion auto win, I mean, you could have card destruction auto win, or you could just go wind up loop and just loop your opponent's entire hand with, like, Pot of Avarice. And then when you looked at Inzektors, it was like, what the fuck can you do? Like, really? I mean, you don't have much of anything. I mean, you don't even have the good card trooper plays that you have now. I also think that the deck suffered from too much of a good thing. I mean, yeah, it was really nice to have 3 Hornets and to have 3 Dragonflies, but when you look back in hindsight, it just wasn't needed. Like, it always made your hands so freaking cluttered, especially when people threw Tour Guide in too. I mean, you just had these monster cluttered hands, and it's like, how fast can I lose against a Doka because I don't have any removal, When I look at those hands, it was like Inzektors could easily rival Lightsworn for worst, most inconsistent hands ever. You know what I mean? And that's exactly the reason why the deck lost. The fact that Effect Veiler pretty much saw play everywhere, and that Fiendish Chain saw a lot of play too in place of Dimensional Prison, because people wanted to be able to stop Tour Guides. They wanted to be able to stop, the wind-up cards. They wanted to be able to stop Inzektors. None of those really helped at all. You know what I mean? The Dino Rabbit matchup was practically unwinnable, which wasn't good considering that was the most popular deck. But even windups kind of had it all over you. I mean, yeah, windups committed to the board, and you could take advantage of that with a Dragonfly, but, you really didn't have much of an answer to Effect Veiler or to Fiendish Chain or to things like that. And the extra board, the side deck just ate Inzektors' lunch. I mean, it just completely took the deck out, because it's like every deck in the format could either side deck Shadow Imprisoning Mirror, or Macrocosmos, or Skill Drain, or something of that sort, and it's like all of them destroyed the deck. I mean, I thought the regional with TG Stun, that was not supposed to happen. I mean, one of the reasons why it did was because I played 4 Inzektor players, and Skill Drain was just like, okay, you lose now. I mean, Skill Drain basically walked into their house, smacked their mama, took her purse, and then bought me Call of Duty with it. Like, I mean, it was just that easy. When I look at Inzektors' last format, they were really, really underwhelming from the fact that it was like, yeah, they had an extra deck, but nothing really added much to the deck. I mean, I don't understand why the deck had its own Xyz, but they ended up being better in Chaos Dragons. And it was like none of the Xyz were even better than Dragonfly. So, I mean, when you had a Dragonfly and Centipede on the field, it was like, well, do I just leave them there knowing that I could get Darkhold, or they might top deck a Rabbit, or, do I make like a Zen Mains and try and sit on that knowing that it won't be able to blow up any more cards? So, I don't know. I think that ultimately some of the problems that the deck had was it was way too one summon. And when I say one summon, it was you summon Dragonfly and you pray to God that your opponent doesn't have an Effect Veiler. You pray to God they don't have a Solemn Warning or Torrential, because if they did, you just were set back a turn and you were probably going to get wrecked next turn. You know, when you look at the deck now, and this is one of the reasons why I think the deck is so good now, is because they added Call of the Haunted. Call of the Haunted gives this deck an infinite amount of utility. I mean, it's like summon Dragonfly. Oh, you torrential? Okay, activate Call of the Haunted. I resolve Dragonfly, I win. I mean, that's basically what the deck boils down to. You know, when I look at it last format, it was cluttered. It didn't have a turn one play that was good. Effect Veiler and Fiendish Chain were everywhere. You know, Doka was a card, and it was just like, man, you know, it had power, but it wasn't very impressive when you look at the fact that everything surrounding it just basically sided so hard to destroy it. So, you know, I honestly think that Inzektors was a good deck last format, but I don't think that it was one of the better decks. It wasn't one of the top 3 or 4 decks of the format, and I think that people constantly get that misconstrued. I like the deck now, but didn't love it back then. Thank you guys for watching as always. Let me know what you think, and I'll talk to you later.